knows how to do stuff. So it's pretty much like this, right? It's just pretty much like that. So this will be two-ciliary stage, and each portion of the two-ciliary stage is known as a blastomeria. Okay. Next, we have implantation, which can take up to 9 days. In the implantation, remember that we have human chorionic gonadotropin. That chorion word, the chorion or chorionic, that pretty much at the level of the amniotic sac, you're going to have amniotic fluid. When you break placenta,
break your water.
so that is amniotic fluid. The yolk sac is pretty much, we're going to use it for nutrition for the development of the 3 primary germ layers that you are going to come out of. So there are 3 primary germ layers. The first, you only have 2. So the 3 primary germ layers, just pretty much like tissues, layers. So those primary germ layers are going to be ecto and endoderm. Okay? So ecto and endoderm. Now remember, from this trophoblast, you're going to come 2 more things, which is cyto and syncyto trophoblast. Okay? Which later on we're going to see it in this one. So let's continue. So again, the dark portion is going to be the trophoblast. The tip of the dark portions are going to be the syncyto trophoblast, right? They're penetrating and they're looking for these things right here. You can barely see it on the model, but they are spiral arteries. If you look at the model, you can see them there. You can see the spiral arteries there. The actual muscle is going to be called what, guys? What is this muscle? That muscle, okay, the first portion is going to be the endometrium, okay, and the muscle itself, it will be the myometrium. But in this case, just endometrium, right? Just endometrium. So normally during the first trimester, first week, you're going to start creating the first layer of the ectoderm, which is your nervous system. Okay? Amniotic cavity. And now from the ectoderm, you have the nervous plate, which is the nervous system. From here, you have the endoderm. In this top portion, you have the heart. The first time we see a heart in a baby, the heart has how many chambers?
4.
So at what time are we going to see heart in the baby? During the 4th week of pregnancy. So that's a rudimentary heart. Reading? I had last class. Does anybody has that model on their table? That is the model, guys, okay? So that red stuff right there is a rudimentary heart. And you need to know the amniotic and the yolk sac. Please don't forget that all that is attached to what? To placenta. Okay? So remember that placenta is going to have the endometrium in it, right? So the next one, as you see, as it keeps growing, right, the little plate, the yolk sac becomes smaller and smaller. So now in there you have the placenta, you have, which is part of the endometrium there, and then you're going to have the myometrium, right? And the uterus is going to keep expanding and expanding and expanding. The bigger the uterus, the thinner the uterus gets. So the smaller the uterus, the thicker the myometrium. The greater, the thinner the myometrium. If the baby grows too fast, right, and too furious, and you have too much contractions, you can have 2 things. Y right there. So there's no way you guys can miss this stuff. So that bar right there is umbilical stalk, right? That is what later going to become the umbilical cord right here. Okay. When do we also see the umbilical cord? Well, this is a best model for the umbilical cord. Okay, number 7 right there. The same thing is the same stuff, right? So this will be the trophoblast, and these will be the chorionic villi, which are a portion of this in situ trophoblast. Arteries, and the red one is going to be called umbilical vein. So normally you have 2 veins and 1 artery, which is true in this case, but this is an exception because the veins function as arteries and the artery functions as veins. So you have 2 arteries and 1 vein. Everybody got that? Great. So that's another question. The fetal circulation, which you already read on. So what are the 3 structures? Well, first of all, please understand that the umbilical arteries come from the internal iliacs of mom, right? Now these umbilical arteries, they go pretty much and bind to the umbilical vein. So as the vein goes up, we have a ductus venosus. So the ductus venosus, what it does is bypasses the liver. And that one is this thing right here. So if you see a label somewhere around here or towards the end, towards the middle there of the liver, that is ductus venosus, bypasses liver circulation. Then as we go up into the inferior vena cava, into the heart, we have 2 structures. The foramen ovale, which connects the right to the left atrium. Okay, that I give that question, I already got it wrong. So you're going to have a stick going through one end to the other end. So that's foramen ovale. And then the other one is the ductus arteriosum. You're not going to see the ductus arteriosum, or probably somewhere or something that points to the top of the heart is referring to the ductus arteriosum. Please notice that the ductus arteriosum in a grown individual, right, in an adult or a baby after 28 hours, 48 I think is the top, is not ductus arteriosum anymore. Bless you, bless you, bless you. It is ligamentum arteriosum. It's a ligament. And the foramen ovale is not a foramen ovale after 24 hours. Okay, actually after you're born. Okay, the closest before 24 hours. It's going to be called what? Fossa ovalis. Okay? So if I put adult, fossa ovalis. If I don't put anything that deals with an older individual, then foramen or ductus. Okay? If not, fossa or ligament. I believe that with that, we are done for the things that we need to know.